Hello and welcome to part 3 of creating an FPS shooter. I'm just trying to think what we did last time. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done the last video. So I think we just implemented our gun and we got our enemy completely following us, and we'd have to provoke our enemy if we got close enough. I think if we click on our enemy, there we go, we've got a radius around that enemy there. Lovely. So this week we implemented our gun in the last session. So now it's time to get that working. So we're going to have a look at really nice and simple raycasting that will work for shooting our gun. And what we'll do is we'll go from our main camera that's attached to our player, and we'll shoot it straight out the middle of that. So if we have a look at our player, we can see here that pretty much our gun's in the middle of that camera. If we look here, so here's our camera from here to here, and there and there. So with our gun in the middle, it will look like pretty much shooting directly from here. So we might have to adjust our gun slightly to make it seem more realistic, but I think with the way that the raycast will go, it will shoot fine and look absolutely fine and dandy. So the first things first, we're going to click on our gun. We're going to go to create. We're going to create a new script, and we're going to call this weapon. So this can be, we're not calling it gun or anything like that, or specific gun, because it can be universal. So there we go, create that, call that weapon, and what we're going to do is make sure that weapon attaches to here, our gun. So what we're going to do is double click on weapon. Lovely, that will sort us out there. So from here, we're going to have a look at some variables that we need to create for our weapon script. One of those is firstly going to be the camera itself, because I said obviously if we look here, we're going to shoot. We're going to shooting directly out of where the camera is facing on the Z-axis. So that can be private, and we're going to call up our camera, and we can call this just FP camera, so first person camera. There we go, and let's serialize this field while we're here, just to make things nice and neat. And what can we do for the next one? So, and obviously the range, obviously, so how far we're going to shoot as well with our raycast. So we can call this another private float, and we can call this range, and let's just say equal 100. That's kind of the stereotypical way. And again, I'm going to serialize that field as well. So we've got our camera, which the direction we're going to shoot out of for our raycast, and our private float range of 100 of how far that range is going to go. Lovely. So if we go to our void update, in here we're going to say get the input for our shooting. So just like we've done for vertical and horizontal inputs, Unity also has an input for shooting. So if we go to edit, project settings, it's all been a bit squidged here, isn't it? So let's open this up. Input manager, axes, and then we can see we've got fire 1 here. And if we click on fire 1, we can see that it's either a left control or an alternative positive button, which is mouse 0. So that's our left click. And that's exactly what we want. So if we make sure that we reference fire 1 in get button down, that should be all nice and working. So if we say if input dot get, there it is, button down, we are going to bring up the reference of fire 1, and then what's going to happen if we press that button? Well, we are going to shoot, and we're going to create a custom method for that. We don't want to put everything in update, otherwise our game might become a bit sluggish and slow, so we're going to have separate methods so it's not all running from that one method. So we're going to call this private void and obviously shoot, just like that. So within shoot, we need to name our raycast, just like anything, just like any variable within C#, we need to name it. So we can just type up RayCastHit, and we are going to call that hit. Easy as that. So once we've got that, we can say, actually we'll do a gap there so it makes it easier. So we can say if physics, dot Raycast, and then we're going to reference our FP camera dot transform. So the so our physics raycast is going to come from the transform position of our FPS camera, and the raycast will then, so from our camera, so which direction will it go? Well, we want it to go from our z-axis, and we know if we type in forward, that is coming from our z-axis. Oh, it's having a bit of a heart attack here. There we go. Dot forward. There we go. And then we can say we want to say that is going to out hit, and then how far that's going to be is going to be our range. Lovely. So if we do that, obviously because that's an if statement, what happens? Well, we want to make sure that this raycast is working. So it's a raycast debug.log, and we can say hit. Let's get those parentheses up. So hit. What do we hit? Well, we're going to say we want whatever we hit dot the transform dot name. So it will give us the name of that. Awesome. So also we want to, if we get any null references as well, so if we hit nothing, that will create a warning for us and an error in our console. So to make sure we don't get those errors in our console, we just say else, and we can just say return. Lovely. So that should get rid of our null errors right there. Okay, so if we save this script, go back into Unity, make sure there's not any issues. Lovely, don't know why my environment's done that all of a sudden. Let's click onto gun. Got the weapon script here. Is looking for our first person camera, which is here. So grab that main camera. Oh, doesn't want to do it. Come on. There we go. There's our main camera into there. Got a range of 100. So hopefully when we press play, we should be able to have object name objects. So we click that. There we go. Oh, there we go. Pillar, hit pillar, blah, 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 blah. Hit ramp. Let's go up to our enemy and see if we can hit him with our range. Hit enemy. Lovely. And we can see that all down the bottom here. If I just quickly escape this, we can see here that hit enemy, and we can also see, if I bring up my console, of the other objects. So I hit the pillar, hit the ramp, and then I hit the enemy. So that's working really well. Fantastic. Cool, so what we're going to do is make sure we save our game. That's really, really important that we do that. So I'm just going to save that again because it didn't look like it saved. Fantastic. So the main reason we're here is we want to shoot and destroy our enemy. So that's what we're going to do next. Now we've got our raycast working. We know we've got that debug working as well. That is amazing. So let's have a think. So we need to probably create a health for our enemy. So if we click on our enemy, we've got our AI script at the moment. Let's see how busy that is. Oh yeah, there's a fair bit going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new script, because let's keep it all separate, just for my brain. So let's create a new C# script, and let's call this enemy health. Lovely, fantastic. So once we've got that enemy health, we can attach this to our enemy. There it is, enemy health. And what we're going to do is scroll up, and here we can see overrides. If we click on overrides, we're just going to see apply all. So within our prefab folder, our enemy should be updated with, there we go, our enemy health script. Fantastic. So when it comes to spawning that character, and become nice and easy. So let's open enemy health script. Cool, so let's have a look what's happening in here. So first of all, we need to say what is our, ooh, we've got lots of red lines here. Let's what's happened here? And we close Visual Studio. Sometimes this happens. As we open Visual Studio, hopefully I don't have to cut the video for this to take too long. There we go, no red lines, fantastic. Don't know why it does that, it just does sometimes. Okie dokies, so let's have a look. So, where were we? So we need to say what is the health of our enemy. So first things first, let's say, let's make it easy. Let's say private float. And then we'll call this hit points, just to make life a little easier. So we know that's what we're actually hitting. And this can equal 100F, so 100 points. And if you want to change that, let's just quickly serialize this field. There we go, fantastic. Then what we need is, no, we don't need any other variables for now. We might need one a little bit later. Let's have a think. Cool. So let's create, I'm not sure if we'll need start or update, maybe on grabbing some components, I'm not too sure yet. So let's create a brand new method and we'll call this public void take damage. Lovely. So we're going to create a variable, a float variable within take damage, and that's going to be a float. Ooh, that's going to be float, and we're going to call that damage. So this will be really handy for when we need to bring up take damage into our weapon script, because obviously it's the weapon actually doing the damage. So we'll bring this up in our if physics shoot in a moment. So if we say, we can say that hit points minus equals damage. Cool, lovely. So every time we are taking away damage, the damage is actually taking away our hit points, or hit points is taking or adding damage even. So let's say if we die, so let's say if hit points is less than or equal to 0, what's going to happen? Well, let's be really crude about it. Let's just destroy him. Let's just destroy game object. Lovely. Fantastic. So that will definitely work. You can't go wrong with a bit of destroy for now. Let's quickly save this and let's bring this script up within our weapon. So there we go. Let's keep that debug in there just for now so we know what it's saying. So let's have a look. We need to say that, let's bring up our enemy health script. There we go. So enemy health, let's call this target because that is the target. Our enemy is the target, equals hit dot transform dot get component. There it is, get component, and let's grab that script of enemy health, and then from there we're going to grab we need to grab that script as well. So if we say target dot take damage, there we go, and then we can say damage. Awesome. So we don't need to add any numbers here because it doesn't like that. Why does target not like that? Name damage does not exist in the current context. Oh, it definitely does though. So we picked up that enemy health script. Why doesn't enemy health like damage? Because it's there. Let's save this. Yeah, because then it needs to. Yeah. How odd, because it asks for it and then doesn't like it. And target.take damage, and then we've got hit transform, get component. Why wouldn't it like the damage? Why wouldn't it like the damage? I'm not too sure. We've got, oh, I know why it doesn't like the damage, because we don't have the damage as a new variable up here. So let's create damage as a serialized field up here, and then we can say, what did we say damage was? We can say damage, we can set, tired today. Private void, private float, let's say damage, and was it 100, so let's equal this 25F. So it takes it away in 4 hits. So that then, creating this variable here, should then, there we go, make damage work all nice and lovely. Okay, so let's quickly save this. If we go to our enemy, let's make sure everything's in. 100 hit points, lovely. Gun, damage 25. So if we press play, let's shoot once, shoot twice, shoot 3 times, 4 times, dead. Lovely, fantastic. So let's, I think we've got, I'm going to have another error here, aren't we? Yes, so we did get an error for, what did we get an error for? Let's have a look very quickly. So let's have a look at this. So we've got an error for a null reference exception. Object references are not set to an instance of an object. Okay, cool. So what I did is that we shot a null. So we shot our, we didn't find anything. And you might be thinking, oh, but we've already just done that within our script with return here. But we are now referencing this script. So what we need to say under here is that we need to say if target is equal to null, we can then just return this, return that null. So we're saying, no, don't worry about it. Actually, I might put it under there just to make things a little bit neater. Fantastic. So let's save this again. Press play. Let's shoot in the sky. Lovely, and we can shoot other things and get names and everything like that. Let's just make sure that hasn't destroyed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lovely, dead. Fantastic. So in just a couple of easy, simple steps, we have been able to destroy our enemy. I hope this code is all working for you. Nice and simple. It does get a little bit more confusing because we are talking between our enemy health script and our weapon script. But it should be, for the kind of level we're at now, should be pretty easy to understand what we're doing with our Raycast and how that is affecting our objects. Cool. Hope you enjoyed this session, and I will see you very soon.